My name is Janet Morris. My Twitter account is JanersM, and my Instagram is Miss Janertham. Miss Janertham. I know I don't speak very loudly, so I apologize for that. But I saw a message on Instagram last night that Madison was looking for women who had posted in the hashtag YesAllWomen because she had encountered a guy who said that he didn't think the women would say it in real life. So I thought I would do this on video, since she was asking for videos of women reading the tweets or explaining their experiences. So these are tweets that I wrote. The most recent in the hashtag was YesAllWomen, because you know she's a thought when the TOHT and similar hashtags are a regular thing on Twitter, because it's pretty common on Twitter when I go on the website to find a tweet, a trend that basically is calling women whores. And it's always guys saying that, and other girls, there are a lot of girls on these trends that are calling out women for the way they dress, the things they do in their personal lives, the things they do in public. And while I understand that sometimes you call out people that you don't agree with, it doesn't seem like they do the same thing with guys, and that bugs me. It really does. Because we're not, women aren't a different species. We are same as guys. We're human, and and transgender people and intersex people, we're all human, and yet there are different standards for men than everybody else, and that is so messed up. The next most recent was linking to an article on an online magazine about women upgrading being groped to criminality, because again, another woman actually was saying that women were being crybabies basically because they were reporting sexual assaults to the police. That's ridiculous, when you think that women shouldn't, when you think it's okay to let people get away with it. It's just, how do you justify that? How is this okay? I don't know. The next one that I wrote was about a friend whose father had basically sold her into slavery in his home country. She was American, but he and her mom were from a different country, and when he didn't get his way in their custody battle, he basically kidnapped her, sold her to some people. Her mom had to work really hard to get her back, and that was when she was 12 years old. Yeah, not good. And I know that there are boys that in other countries, and probably even here, that have that happen, but you hear a lot more about girls being sold into slavery, whether it's domestic work or sex trafficking. I mean, it's sad, and you think it's not just an American thing, that this happens worldwide. I mean, look at what's happened in these girls were kidnapped and they're being treated like garbage, basically, and they're not. And it's all because they're girls. I mean, I know in that case there are socio-political reasons and everything, but the basis for taking girls over boys is what? Because they're weak? I don't know. Because I don't think of myself as being, less important because of my gender. Sorry. Just don't. Anyway. The next tweet was, because going out to check the mail after dark requires you to be hyper aware of your surroundings. And I can't explain how many times I've forgotten to check the mail until it's too late. Or when it's wintertime and it's dark really early and the mail runs really late. Because sometimes he doesn't get here until almost 7 o'clock. And during the winter, the sun starts setting 4:30. So some days I would wait until the next day to check the mail, so I did not have to go outside just in case something bad would happen. And I live in what is considered a very safe neighborhood, but there's still that fear, and it's something, that you're taught when you're young, that if you're a girl, that you can be kidnapped, you can be raped, you can be murdered, that you can be beaten up, basically that your life is in the hands of strangers, that anything you do can trigger somebody else to decide that they have to punish you for it. And it doesn't matter if it's something as innocuous as going out to check the mail. My next one, it's going to tie into some that I'm going to read later, and so maybe I'll be able to explain it more then. But it's because thinking for yourself or standing up for yourself leads to someone saying you have no sense of morality. Because that does happen. Women speak up. They're called bitches. They're called whores. They're called sluts. They're told that they have no values, that they have no worth, and that this is all based on them expressing themselves. And this is really horrible. I have to drink something because it takes a lot of energy to talk. I'm not used to doing this. My next one was because when this happened, and it's a link to an article called, or not an article, a blog entry on my website, fuzzypinkslippers.com, called When Does It Become Abuse? And it was basically me talking about how Twitter, I had reported a group of 4 or 5 people. I think it was 4 people that I reported. There were a couple more that didn't get reported because they didn't actually say anything. They were just favoriting and retweeting the things the guys were saying. This is weird because I mean, I've talked about it online a lot in writing, and I've talked to my parents about it because it did bother me. Basically what happened was Henry Waxman, he's in Congress. He decided not to run again this year. And there was a rumor that Sandra Fluke was going to try to get his seat. And she's famous for Rush Limbaugh calling her a slut because she advocated for birth control pills to be free or cheap. And of course, this meant that because she was advocating for affordable birth control pills, that somehow she intended to go have sex with a bunch of people, even though she made it clear that that was not the case. And, you know, even if it was the case, who cares? It's her life, right? I mean, really? But, anyway, this guy said something about how the trend that was making fun of her with campaign slogans for her, that it was started by a woman, so it couldn't be sexist. Well, women can make sexist comments about other women. Women can be misogynists. You do not have to be a man to hate other women. You're so funny. Anyway, he basically, you know, was justifying it by that, and I told him, you know, that women could hate other women, and he responded by calling me a human manatee. I've been made fun of my whole life for being overweight, obese, so that was kind of, it was rude. It was a new insult. I told him it wasn't, but because the insults themselves are basically the same no matter what they are. But he retweeted or basically got his friends involved. And they started calling me a slut, a whore. One of the things he said was that that I would do anal sex for Ronald McDonald in exchange for free Big Macs. That was why I said at one point that I had been on birth control pills from the time I was in middle school, because his assumption was that if I was on birth control pills, that I was sexually active the second that I took them. I was on them because, well, I was put on them at that point because I was having periods that lasted from the beginning of 1 month until the middle of the next one, and they weren't light. I was bleeding all over the place, and now I have a condition known as iron deficiency anemia, and I'm supposed to try to take them anyway. I don't like taking them, and I don't like being punished by society, you know, for judgmental comments like that, for taking with judgmental comments like that. But that's not why I don't take them. It's that they actually kind of make me have more headaches and feel sick, and my legs swell a little bit when I'm on them, and I just don't like it.